Hey Dude, the 90s Called. The podcast is officially out. Is this like a Hey Dude rewatch? Are you going to tackle 90s trends? How do you envision this all rolling out?
Oh no, we're our first episode is a reunion of the Hey Dude cast, but we wanted to start with, our core base and our close circle of friends. Christine has arranged an amazing reunion of the Brady Bunch movie cast, and I arranged a reunion of the movie White Squall and that whole cast. But then we want to expand it into athletes, musicians, anyone who made a mark in the decade of the 90s. We're interested in speaking to.
Right now, we have all of the siblings. We have the Brady kids, and we have Henriette, who played Alice. So we're working on schedules for Jesse, who played Bobby, and Gary Cole. There have been little mini reunions and interviews and over the years, but not all of us have been together sort of in this scale of a group. So we're so excited.
It was the last decade before smartphones and social media. And there's something kind of special about that when we look back on the work that was done in the 90s, that so many people enjoyed it at the same time.
Is this your roles on Hey Dude, the ones that you get recognized for most often when you're out in the world?
I mean, for me, I think it's more of MARCIA BRADY, and that's what I usually expect. And by the way, there are people who think that I'm like the original, like they'll think I'm Maureen McCormick.
Yeah, you were recognized as MARCIA BRADY before you did the Brady Bunch.
Before I did MARCIA BRADY, exactly. But I'm always surprised when I think someone's going to say, "Oh, I love the Brady Bunch," and then it's Hey Dude, and so I'm complimented they still recognize me years later at all. It's great.
David, are you getting Ted fans out in the street?
All of us, on at least a weekly or monthly basis, have people come over to us and tell us how what a meaningful part of their childhood the show was. The Hey Dude fan base is so passionate, and it's another level of excitement for sure.
One of the things that I think is so fascinating that I'm learning as I'm listening, to the podcast is that, you guys were kids thrust into the spotlight kind of before this whole like Disney Channel explosion happened. You were just a bunch of kids living in Tucson, Arizona. Explain to me how that all worked. Was there really no supervision at this hotel that you guys were all hanging out at?
We really had a lot of freedom. I don't know if stuff that went down then would fly now, but
like in what way? Like just you guys being 16 or 17 years old living in a hotel on your own?
Yeah, yes. Going and coming.
With no parents. There were no, I mean, I don't think legally that would even be allowed these days. They did assign legal guardians to us, and they were part of the production company. And, because the crew, everyone was in their, 20s, 30s, we had those authority figures, I felt like, but we weren't accountable really to them. However, David, we were good kids. Like when I look back on it, we probably could have taken more advantage of the freedoms that we had, but we were kind of like good kids, like rule followers even.
Yeah, we were going to the mall and spending our per diem and, just doing, we could have been a lot worse. But I will say, being on a cable show in 1990 is not what it is right now. We weren't under a spotlight. We didn't even know people were watching the first year we were making the show. It took a while for us to even realize the impact that the show was having.
I mean, I think you blew all of our brains when after 30 years, the two of you revealed that there was a little romance going on behind the scenes. And, 30 years is a really long time to keep something so close to the chest. Why keep it a secret? Why was it something you guys didn't want the world to know about?
Well, to be honest, we didn't really think anyone cared, right? It's like, honestly,
Ed and Melody in real life, we care.
Yeah, now we know that. We know that now. Jill, your wife, David, was the first person to say, like, you guys should definitely talk about that. And I was like, let's like, what better for the fans than to hear like the real good behind the scenes drama? Comedy and drama.
Was this your first like real love and experience with kind of those seminal life moments?
For me, it was for sure. Christine was absolutely my first love, and it was intense because we were living together in, there wasn't that space to breathe. It was, and we were working every day together. So when we would fight, apparently the whole cast and crew knew. They could hear us going on our little roller coaster, and yeah, it was. But as much turbulence as there was, and Christine had a boyfriend from high school, so I wasn't her first love, but all I remember are so many great times and laughs, and Christine is like family to me. Like we know each other, and when you put some time between it, you really just remember the good stuff, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And Christine, I want to ask you, because I always think about actors who are in these particular positions where you're dating somebody that you're working with, and then sometimes life happens and you still got to show up to work on Monday. How did you navigate all of that?
Well, it's always the
Tears.
universe works. Yes, the universe works in those ways where there would be episodes where David and I, or Melody and Ted, wouldn't even be working together for a lot of them. But I remember specifically the episode that we shot right after the split, and we were handcuffed together in every scene, and it's just sort of like, really, universe?
Couldn't shake him.
That is the universe.
Congratulations to both of you. You found so much success after the show that kind of put you on the map. David, I want to talk to you first. You have been on pretty much every quintessential 90s sitcom, from Blossom to Sabrina to Clueless to my personal favorite, Two of a Kind. Working with the Olsen twins, who we don't get to see a lot of these days, were you surprised when they said goodbye to acting?
I definitely want to get them on the show if we can. And I have to say, I probably did the only thing in their entire life that got canceled and wasn't a huge smashing success. We did one season, but they were. Yeah, it was a great show, and they're such professionals. No, I wasn't surprised because they had this entrepreneurial spirit about them. But yeah, all those shows, Blossom and Sabrina specifically, were like, families to me.
For sure. And Christine, you touched on it already, but you are truly iconic as Marcia Brady.
Dinner's ready. Oh, my nose.
It opened so many doors. It really sort of, in the world of comedy in particular, I just had all these wonderful opportunities. I think the tricky thing when you're portraying a character, there were a lot of people that really just thought I was like a great Marcia Brady impersonator. And I think on the flip side of that, it also was sort of like, Ben Stiller being one of them, when I went to audition for him for a project that I did end up getting, but originally he was like, no, that's like, she's too Marcia Brady. So, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't sometimes, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Sure Jan GIF is one of the most popular on social media.
Sure, Jan.
Do people ever send it to you?
Yes, people will send it to me, and then I'll see it if I'm scrolling through. I feel like during the election, it came up, like there's literally like politicians who post it, and like who knew? But Jennifer and I will talk about that when we all come together for our reunion episode.
I love that you mentioned Ben Stiller. I got to congratulate you. You're coming up on 23 years of marriage. When you think about that and how successful you guys have been together, approaching a huge number like 23, what comes to mind?
I feel like relationships grow. You grow with them. Like I feel like for us, for me, I was in my late 20s when we met, and now I'm 51. So, you grow and you ebb and flow. And I really think it's just about constant communication. And you ride the waves of the up and downs and figure it out. And I'm really lucky. And 23 years goes by fast.
I love the smile on your face. And I just have to tell you, as a fan of you, it really touched me and so many people to see that, the pandemic was a challenging time for a lot of us, But it was really beautiful seeing how that brought you together. Is that the result of spending 24/7 together?
I think so. I think, it's, again, long-term marriages, it was good for us for a period of time to have some space, and then the pandemic brought us together, and that was what was right for us, and that was ultimately what was meant to be. And so I'm very grateful for that. There are some silver linings for sure.
You both have kids who are kind of following in the family business and exploring the arts. David, your daughter is a certified TikTok star with over 1 million followers. What do you make of it?
What was very cool to me is that Chelsea was at Jingle Ball at Madison Square Garden because she was doing the shows with Jax, and iHeart had Christine and I doing our first bit of press on the same red carpet as Chelsea. And you talk about, full circle moment, and just watching her do her thing, which is a different medium that I just don't get, but I love her, and I love Jax, and I love what they're doing.
And Christine, congratulations. Your daughter is just crushing it at Juilliard. What do you make of her choosing to go down this path that her grandparents and her parents very famously have carved out?
I am so proud of her. I mean, it was really like her love and passion from a very young age. And I think she was exposed to a lot of it through us, but it really came from inside her. And, she's worked really hard, and I believe that there is a sort of genetic piece because for Ben's parents, for us, and then for her right now, she loves it and is pursuing her dream, and studying at a great school. So I'm so proud of her.
Is there a project that is your kid's favorite? And is there one that you're like, I'd be cool if you never saw that one?
I wrote and directed my first film that was sort of semi-autobiographical. And my kids were really fascinated by that. That's their favorite. And I tried to show them Hey Dude, and I don't know if the look of the show or what it was maybe timed out, but I don't know. Christine, how about you?
My son's favorite, one of his favorites is dodgeball. Like, he is obsessed with dodgeball.
Yeah.
So I my street cred really got up after that movie. He thinks I'm kind of cool that I'm in that movie.
Are you reading the dictionary?
Oh, you caught me. I like to break a mental sweat too. Grab a chair.
A lot of the projects, now that my kids are older, they're finding them on their own. But Ben and I were not the parents. I mean, we all tried Hey Dude with our kids just because, and it didn't really take. It's just not as slick and as quick and as edgy as the shows they're used to. If they find the shows or the movies, then great. But I'm sort of like, do your thing.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm personally manifesting you and your daughter doing some sort of a situation on Severance. That is my goal for 2023.
Oh yeah.
Is that in the works?
That is not in the works. That is, I like where you're going with it. I'm always open. I'm an open-minded gal when it comes to working with my family, that's for sure.